Testing 1, 2. Good evening, guys. So Donnie Rouse here, and this one is inspired by a conversation I had with a friend of mine, and it was around affirmations as well as keeping a vision board. So here we go. Hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast One Life. Do vision boards and affirmations work? I was on a phone call with my friend Jess, and she asked me about vision boards. She said, well, have you ever heard you do vision boards? Do they work? And I told her, I said, well, it depends on what your definition of work is. If you think that putting it on a picture of a brand new Porsche on a board is going to magically make it appear in your driveway, then no, that's not how they work. But what they do is they soften your mind. They soften your belief about what it means to have that as well as how to get it. Moments earlier, I think we were having a conversation about money and how something may seem so far out of reach, and yet your mind can't even conceive of a way to grasp it. So where a vision board comes into play, the vision board allows you to look at it, and by looking at it, it allows you to soften the resistance you have around it by creating feelings that are more positive or more higher frequency versus the lower frequency ones that you look at when you see it and you say, well, you know what, I'm never going to have it. But it's important for you to be conscious of exactly what is going on in your mind. So while we're on the topic of vision board, let's also start talking about affirmations. What is an affirmation? Affirmation is saying, I am confident and I am rich. Is that going to bring confidence and affluence into your life? It's not if you're just saying the words. Like I said with vision boards, the whole point of an affirmation is to soften your resistance, is to start to believe, to start to uncover maybe some of the negative beliefs, the disempowering beliefs you have around money or around confidence. Maybe confidence means that if you are confident, then other people may feel inferior. Maybe if you have money, that you feel like you have more, other people have less. These are the kind of things that come out when you start to say these, when you start to repeat these affirmations or you start to look at the vision board. All of a sudden, the stuff that was hidden starts to peek their head out. So this way you could identify. And once you're able to identify, then you could resolve and kind of figure out what you need to do in order to yank that belief out by the roots. And so it's not enough for me to just kind of share this with you. Let's do a little practical test. Think of an area of your life. For the sake of this, because we're here, let's just say your physical body. Think of what is having that perfect physical body or that perfect health mean to you, right? It means different things to different people. Some people might mean having the big muscles and the ripped abs. Other people literally might just be having the energy and the mobility, and that's fine too. Everyone's definition is going to be very different. But I want you to pick a category and notice where there's the disconnect, meaning notice where the gap is, right? Where the thing that you want and where you are now. And really quickly, I want you to write on the piece of paper an affirmation, right? So say going back to, you want to have ripped abs, right? Whatever it may be. You say, I am ripped, I have muscles, and I am buff, whatever it is. I'm just making it up on the fly. As you say this, I want you to notice, how does it feel? Whatever it is you're putting down on that paper, whatever it is that you're aspiring or that you want to have, how does it feel when you read the statement, I am blank? And notice how you feel in your body. Because how you feel in your body is going to tell you your point of attraction with it. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to change a few words with it. So instead of saying I am, let's say I am starting to get blank, or I am stepping into blank, meaning you're stepping into the role. How does that feel now? Notice there's going to be a very distinct difference between I am and I am going to be. Two are going to be completely different. I am, where your brain might get cut up. was saying, because you know you're not that right now, right? So it might be hard for you to connect to that statement. But when you say, I am going to be buff, I'm going to be full of energy, vitality, and flexibility, all of a sudden now you're placing the statement itself as kind of future facing, where, yeah, you might not have it now, but it opens up potential and the possibility of you achieving that, right? And all of a sudden now you start to be able to feel the emotion of what it might feel like to have the energy, to have the flexibility, to have the body that you want. And that's exactly what you're going for. That's exactly the purpose of vision boards, the purpose of doing affirmations. It's to soften the resistance you have around the thing, but also to keep your focus on what it is that you want. Right? I mean, that alone is worth doing a vision board, just to remember. I mean, I have a vision board. You can't see it behind me, but I literally have like 4 giant boards that make up one vision board where I put like places I wanted to travel. And I look at it every day, sometimes not even consciously. But I know the places that are on there. Like, I've visited quite a few of the places, and then just from looking at, like, right in my site, there's New Zealand. I did Portugal. I was on there, and there's one other place I'm having trouble even remembering now. But I know when I've done like my mornings, I'm rebounding, or if I'm just peering up from my desk, I'll see that and I'll start to daydream a little bit, not even knowing it. And as a result, like, I'm putting myself in the experience of what it might be like to be in this spot where I'm looking out against the city or whatever the backdrop is of that photo. That is the kind of thing that gets the feeling associated with it. And as a result of having that feeling, that is what ultimately will pull you forward, which pulls you towards the thing that you want. So let's do let me backtrack and let's just kind of touch upon everything that we already spoke about in this podcast. Vision boards, do they work? Yes, vision boards work in the sense that they keep you focused on the very thing that you desire, the very thing that you want. They also let you become aware of maybe some disempowering beliefs that stick their head up because you're looking at it, saying that you want it, but there's some negativity, some disempowering belief that you picked up somewhere in your childhood that comes out. Now it's there, you're there to resolve it. But also, just by looking at it day in and day out, you start to soften your resistance. You start to be able to feel what it might feel like to have that. If you're daydreaming and you're in a good state, you might be able to put yourself in that state to feel it. Next, affirmations. Do affirmations work? Yes, they work as well. But the intention of an affirmation is, again, to soften your resistance to the thing, right? And if you're saying an affirmation, you'll feel the resistance come up. You'll feel like that again, you'll have to pull that weed out, that ugly thing that's going to stick its head up and say, no, you're not. You're ugly because that's what your brother told you, right? That's what my brother told me. And then when that comes up, you take the belief and you start to dismantle the belief by questioning it. But with the affirmation, again, we're trying to soften our resistance to the thing that we want. And sometimes just changing some words can have the fix. Saying I am the essence of vitality, energy, and pure awesomeness with ripped abs and a beautiful chest and nice proportioned legs, right? You might not be there. But if you say, I am working towards, or I am going to be, all of a sudden now your brain doesn't even know the difference. It's looking on the future, and everything's possible in the future, right? Just like all the shit that you tell yourself about that could go wrong, right? You think you're saying, oh man, if I go on this trip, what if something happens? What if I get kidnapped? You're already planning out the future. So why not planning out for your advantage? Why not plan it out in a scenario that you're going to feel great about? So that is all I've got for you. Hopefully, if this sparked any kind of interest, hopefully you'll maybe look up YouTube and figure out, how exactly do I write an affirmation? How do I make a vision board? And just start the process of doing it. I did mine. My vision board's huge, but I know once I started doing it, I hemmed and hawed about it. But then once I started doing it, I started really getting into it. I started getting excited about it. And I know the same thing is going to happen to you. So that is all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any of your friends that, they don't know how the whole affirmation vision board thing works, share this with them. And then if you're doing that, I recommend doing the affirmations several times a day for different categories of your life and visualizing and feeling it as you're saying those affirmations and looking at the vision board. And that'll pull you there closer. But it requires you to make a new habit, and that isn't always easy. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please give it a share. If you'd like to subscribe, you could do so by visiting www.donnyrouse.com. Again, DonnyRaus.com. There you could also ask a question or leave a comment. That is all I've got. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, you get one life. Live it. God bless, and I will see you again next week.